Welcome everyone to another edition of Football 101 on a Thursday night. First time 101 actually, airing on a Thursday.
Yeah, I think live normally we have repeats running, but no, not live, but in terms of having a show, a brand new show on a Thursday night. Welcome everyone. I hope you all enjoy this episode.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said before, we're going to be talking Champions League and only one place to start, and that's in Atletico, the big matchup between Atletico Madrid versus Manchester United. It finished 1 goal apiece. But Nikolai, I mean, we saw a Atletico team that no one probably saw for this entire season. Exactly. I mean, it was a team that we knew Atletico could play like that, but we definitely didn't see them at all this season.
And it's basically what we were talking about throughout the season. It's basically knowing that the squad that we have is either or. You get horrible defeats, you get magnificent wins. And then you get a performance like that where they just dominate Man U for the whole first half and, had an amazing goal by Felix. I mean, that was a beautiful header.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Atletico, they just disappeared in the second half, though.
Yeah, but I think United disappeared even more in the first half. I mean, when you saw that the likes of Pogba having a terrible game, Rashford, I'm really not sure why they took so long to even take him off. I mean, Ilanga came up with the goal coming down to the end, but you saw better United in the second half. But I mean, that first half performance by United was total garbage.
Yeah, for sure. Atletico took the game to them and basically high-pressed them, and they didn't know how to function with anything that Atletico
They
was
didn't have a single touch in Atletico box in the entire first half.
Because I guess this is where you could see systems coming to play. And even if you're going through bad spells, if you know a system and you play to a system against somebody that does not have a system, you would always come out on top, or you at least dominate for a specific portion of the game, which is what they did first half. I mean, halftime, man, you basically get shake up because okay, there's a game going on. You have to come out here and perform. But other than that, I would say that Atletico had this for the taking, and it's all level still. Yeah,
definitely. And I think it's one thing we saw, even with the starting lineup that Ragnick puts out, you saw Lindelof playing as a right back. That's not something that we're accustomed seeing. But at the same point in time, he had such a great game over the weekend. I understood why he probably kept him in. But at the same point in time, it's still looking as though Ragnick, I mean, to me on paper, it probably was our strongest side, but they didn't perform the way you would think they should.
Exactly, and this is where we talk about players playing specific rules and rules to functions. This is where you're supposed to have another right back that could come into play when Wan-Bissaka is not there, when somebody else is not there, to show a little bit of squad depth. And Manu basically doesn't have that, and he basically thought that putting Lindelof in that position, he'll be able to hold his own. But again, for the first goal, you could see how it caught out. Between Fred and him, there was a lot of miscommunication there sometimes because they're not accustomed playing in that position. So, especially playing in a Champions League fixture and at home, and Atleti has their fans roaring. That's why Atletico came out and showed their fans they had something in the tank still.
Yeah, definitely. So they finished 1 goal apiece. I mean, I guess you would say that, Manchester United has the advantage. We all know this season in Champions League, there's no away goals. I personally don't like it. But it gives the team that is playing the second leg, once it's at home, a really big advantage because literally they only need a 1-0 win and they go through.
Exactly. Before you would have said that they would have already had a foot in the door with the away goals through, but now that is no longer there. It is still a better result than coming back and having to face an uphill battle. Right now, it's still everything to play for, a lucky goal. So, for instance, I could see Ronaldo basically bullying Atletico because he accustomed doing that. So in a one-off game, never put it past these guys and the characters to show in these games. A 90th minute winner or even a hat-trick, penalty included,
he loves to for those games.
Exactly. So, and Atletico fears those games. So it's something that Simeone wouldn't want, and it would be a threat that he would know will be proposed in the theatre of dreams, but it's about going and, killing off those dreams and getting to the next round for Atletico.
Well, in 3 weeks, we'll actually see who comes out top in that one. So it's the end of the first round of 16 in the season of the Champions League. Some major talking points, you could say most of the English teams did well. They already have a first foot into the next round. Manchester United probably are the only ones that you could probably say the tie is still in the balance. But the two goats of the Champions League, Ronaldo and even Messi, not really having a great first leg so far.
Yeah, the first leg wasn't all that. I mean, Messi still had a good game. It's just that he missed the penalty, which would have been the chat topper for him. But still, he's still performing in Champions League for PSG. He's still their top scorer.
Yeah.
So next leg in the Bernabeu, coming back to Spain, he has something to say. And again, knowing that people write them off, and this is something that you cannot do with these players in this league especially.
Yeah.
You could never write them off. For instance, the same thing you could go with the likes of Karim Benzema. In that game. You can never write off the caliber of players and the things that these players could do. Talk about the Modric disappearing in the first leg against Verratti. You never know what can happen, and that leaves these legs so exciting, and why Champions League is mouth-watering football for us fans to watch.
Definitely. I think we just have to mention, for me, the most standout team before we go to the first break in the show has to be Manchester City. They had the biggest win thus far, and it really looks as though they probably are the team to beat. I mean, we saw last year them being in the finals. They got over that whole, finals jitters. So it seems as though, and we've seen it in the past, teams that lost in the finals one year for the first time come back and win it the next year.
Liverpool is a prime example of one of the most recent teams that did that. So PSG will be looking to do that this season as well. They were looking to do that. So, these teams, they have to go there and perform. And Manchester City knows that it's not about these games. It's about the latter end of the season, and also making sure that, you're a certain position in all the leagues, because there are title races on, there are different things involved and other cups to play for. So it's about managing the squad properly and knowing where you want to be come the final lap of the season.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, Champions League will return, have a 1 week break, and then the following week we have all the other second legs to watch. So we're going to take a short break. Coming up after the break, we're going to be talking to a Liverpool fan to see his thoughts as it pertains to the Liverpool season thus far. This is Football 101, and we'll be right back after these messages.
You're watching ACTN, The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
Welcome back to Football 101. So, as I mentioned before, we have a Liverpool fan joining us, Rhett Manning. We need to talk Liverpool. They're having an awesome season at this point in time. Just coming off a midweek game in the Premier League, defeating Leeds by 6 goals to 0. Now, Nikolai, we've seen Liverpool. They're doing the Champions League. There's a title race now in the Premier League, and it really looks as though Liverpool are just all guns blazing at this point in time.
Exactly, and they have their guns and they are blazing. If basically, in terms of Sane and Mane getting 2 midweek, coming back from the AFCON Cup. So, the side is basically gelling, and they held their own throughout that period of time without them. We talk about the players coming in, we talk about some of the transfers that they have. So it's great to hear from a Liverpool fan and hear their take on where the season could go for them.
Yeah, definitely. So let's bring him in one time. Rhett, how things going?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm okay.
Nice. So Liverpool, 9 consecutive wins thus far in all competitions. We see them, they came off that victory against Inter in the Champions League, and this 6-0 thrashing against Leeds this past week in the Premier League. So as a Liverpool fan, things are really looking good for Liverpool at this point in time, challenging in UCL and, like we said, Premier League title challenge as well.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. Before Klopp came in, it was a difficult period, but now they seem to be probably have the best squad they've ever had. I mean, the way they play and the players that they have, it's really exciting to be able to watch them participate at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I think I could say about Liverpool, in the past, when certain players aren't there, like the Van Dijk is missing, you saw Liverpool stumble. But now, Van Dijk, it looks as though even if Van Dijk isn't there, the other players in the team have actually stepped up. I mean, you saw it, Manny Sani was not there for a few months, and they kept their challenge going.
And this is where I would say is a great system, and they talk about what Klopp has done throughout the years, and it's about building the side that you have, and it's not necessarily building it overnight. What they did and the systems that they play and the roles and positions that these players play, they know exactly what they do or what they have to do when they're on the field. And even, you know, even if whatever it is behind the scenes, you never know, because on the field, they're a functioning unit and they're getting the results. Players are fit, they have the right squad, a healthy squad going into the latter end of the season. And that's something we haven't really seen from Liverpool throughout the years in terms of in the back end of the season having a fully fit squad and, you know, title race we're in.
Yeah, and as you said, squad there, I need to ask Rep, I mean, Luis Diaz, the new signing for Liverpool, I've never seen a player actually come into a team and just mesh so well, and especially with Liverpool, and especially in the Premier League. You know, normally players, when they come in the Premier League, if they're unaccustomed, they take some time to get accustomed to the speed, but it looks as though he was ready for it from the get-go.
Yeah, I think Klopp and his team did a magnificent job researching Luis Diaz. He seems to be the perfect type of player for Liverpool. And to be quite fair, Klopp has learned over the years coaching in the Premier League that you need to have a big squad to be able to compete with the likes of Manchester City. So bringing in Luis Diaz seems to be a masterstroke by him and his team. So
the title race is on, Nikolai, and let me ask Red, as it pertains to that title race, do you think it's easier on Liverpool, seeing that they are still 3 points behind with a game in hand? Do you think it's easier for them now mentally, seeing that they are chasing at this point in time, and that probably more pressure may be on Manchester City as they are the ones leading and they know Liverpool are literally on their heels?
Yeah, I think so. In the season where Liverpool came second with 98 points, I believe it was, you saw they were ahead, and I think the pressure got to them a little bit, being chased down by Manchester City. So now Manchester City are in that position, and Liverpool, you know, they just have to continue winning games, and hopefully when they go to the Etihad, they could get a result that would be in their favour.
Josh, an interesting stat about this Liverpool side. There's so many interesting stats right now. But if you just go to the Premier League table and just search top players, they have the 3 top players in terms of scorers and assists.
Right.
So they're running the table, they're running everything. So basically, this is their season to go on and just take what is basically theirs and snatch it from Man City.
Yeah, definitely. And we can't let Red go without talking about the big game coming up this weekend, the Carabao Cup finals versus Chelsea this Sunday. So let me get a prediction from you, Red. What do you think the outcome of this game is going to be?
I think Liverpool will win. Maybe 1-0 in the game. Chelsea are definitely a good team. They're very solid. They have a good system with Tuchel. So they're hard to break down, but I think the kind of form Liverpool are in, they'll be able to come away with the win.
And as it pertains to the Premier League title challenge, give me a percentage. What percentage do you think that Liverpool actually have as it pertains to winning the Premier League title this season?
I mean, as good as Liverpool are, and as much as I'm a fan, I don't want to completely write off Manchester City. They are a fantastic team with fantastic players. So I would think it's a little bit in Liverpool's favour. It could go either way, but I'll say maybe 60% chance that they could win.
60%. I thought it would have been less, seeing that, you know, they still have to go to the Etihad.
I mean, I don't want to be too negative.
Right.
That's my team after all, and I support them, so I give them the benefit of the doubt.
All right.
And what would you say are your chances for, you know, the biggest cup come end of the season? How much trophies do you think this Liverpool side could win out of all that they're in right now?
I think that they want to win the FA Cup. They have been neglecting it a bit since Klopp has been there, so I think that's one of the goals for the season, to win the FA Cup. The Premier League, as we said, difficult for them to win. I would hope that they could get two trophies out of the season, minimum.
Okay.
All right, definitely. So, guys, I was Red Manning, a Liverpool fan, hoping that Liverpool can take all that they can get out of this season. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking to David Lucky, Chelsea fan, and we're going to preview the Carabao Cup with him and see his thoughts as it pertains to Chelsea and their chances of winning their second piece of silverware, if they count in the Club World Cup.
Well,
I heard that trophy isn't made out of metal.
Is it last season trophy? Is it this season trophy?
Exactly.
Is it a trophy? I mean, it's just a bragging rights, I guess, and that's why we have David.
So we'll be right back with David and more Football 101.
You're watching ACTN, The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
Welcome back to Football 101. Like we mentioned before, David Lucky's joining us. So let's talk some Chelsea talk, Dave. Chelsea not doing too bad, coming away with a nice victory in the first leg of the round of 16 in Champions League.
Yep, definitely looking good on our part. Strong fight on our end. I think Lille could have given us a little more competition in that regard. I mean, kudos to them. They tried, but it just didn't work out for them. I mean, come away with the 3 points deservedly. This would make it the 39th clean sheet for us on the bounce in all competitions. So I think, it says a lot to play with Tuchel's defensive tactics. It is working for us.
Yeah, I think Havertz scored in, the 7th minute in honor of Lukaku's 7 touches.
It was the 8th minute, right? So take it down, right? Listen.
But yeah, big game coming up this weekend. Carabao Cup, you're in potentially a second title for this.
More silverware, baby. You know what we do?
You sure that was on the silverware?
Listen.
Sure it's not plastic?
When last you won that trophy?
Anyway, let's get back to the conversation. But yeah, Carabao Cup finals against a Liverpool team that has, both of you all are on pretty good runs. I think Liverpool are 9 games unbeaten thus far. You all are 6 games. So both teams in some good form. Yeah,
definitely some good form on our part as well as Liverpool. Liverpool's attacking prowess is undeniable. Definitely, that lineup, Salah, Mane and Jota definitely making serious impacts on sides. Demolishing Leeds, it was tragic. But, at the end, Leeds is a struggle inside at this current time. So, it can't really take too much. It was a victory that should have happened, Manchester United.
Same thing. Not in 6 in the chart.
Well, let's struggle a little bit anyway.
Yeah, but okay, with Chelsea now, we know they have issues with Lukaku. Big question is, and a lot of the media was asking Tuchel this, is he going to start? As a Chelsea fan, would you prefer seeing him start in the lineup or someone else?
Optimistically, you want your number 9 to start. You want him to be on the field and to make an impact. For the most part, he's not having a horrible season, given the stats
Just
he's putting forward. Yeah, correct. Coming from what he was coming from, even in Manchester, he was putting out better, way better figures. It's just a matter of I just don't think that right now in the line that Tuchel is going in, I don't think that he's in his forefront right now. Right. I don't think it's just not working for him right now. Whatever's going on in the club, what's going on in his mind, I can't really say. For him to start, he's definitely going to have to, make some forward movements in Tuchel's mind to get him off of the bench. But I definitely see him on the bench. But to say to start, I can't really be 100%.
Yeah, so you would rather someone like, and he's in form. Havertz is in form, and I think definitely. Because the spotlight isn't on them anymore, on Havertz, because even they were getting stick a few months prior.
Correct, yeah.
Because it's more on Lukaku, with him not doing well, it allows these other guys to perform.
Definitely. number 9 is, a curse for us at the end of the day. So, Havertz has been coming into a lot of form. He started off a little rocky. Same thing with Timo Werner. They started off but a little rocky, but they're definitely coming into their own. Yes, I think that the limelight is being held by Lukaku. So definitely giving them time to take their stride forward.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So big game coming up Sunday at lunchtime. Let me get a prediction as it pertains to the scoreline.
3-1 to Chelsea, bro. You know what we do.
3-1. A realistic scoreline.
Listen. All right, 6-1 to Chelsea.
All right.
A man can hope, right?
Yeah, I know you can. So there you get it. If you want to check out that game, it's coming up on Sunday. You don't want to miss it. I believe kickoff is 12 noon. Yeah. So you don't want to miss that. All right, so coming up after the break, we're going to be talking to a Tottenham Hotspur fan to hear how he thinks their season is going thus far.
You're watching ACTN, The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
Welcome back to Football 101. So we're going to be talking Tottenham Hotspur. We had some midweek games this week, games that got postponed due to COVID and all different kind of things. So we had a few Premier League games, one being Tottenham versus Burnley. Now Tottenham, they came out a great victory against the league leaders,
it was
Manchester City.
It was the paper headlines for all over this weekend. It's the victory that blew the title race open.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was much talk about that. You're thinking that, okay, well, Tottenham, if you beat the league leaders who had such solid form, then you could go on now and push for the top four and actually cement your position there.
Yeah.
But then come midweek, Burnley and a 1-0 defeat.
Yeah, 1-0 defeat. I don't think Conte was too happy. And joining us on Football 101, we have a Tottenham Hotspur fan, Rodney Sammy. Rodney, how things going?
It could be better. Could be much better.
Yeah, so we saw a 1-0 defeat there to Burnley. I don't think any Tottenham fans... Well, let me ask you, did you come into this match thinking that it was a short 3 points?
No, it's never a short 3 points with the Premier League. But the expectation was we would take the win. So, I mean, after the brilliant game we played against Man City, you know, this is a complete Jekyll and Hyde type thing that we can't understand. But it's more indicative of what's been going on since they let go of Pochettino, which is the board's failure to support their core coaches with the kind of budget.
I think you have somebody delivering some food for you. We need to get service like this on the show.
Yeah, I can do some of that right now. It's about that time, huh?
Yeah, I'm hearing exactly what you're saying there, Rodney. And Conte came out with some statements. I mean, 10 days ago, I heard him talking about the wonderful project he has, and then today he comes out basically, it sounded to me as though he was throwing the players under the bus, saying that, you know, he isn't accustomed to this losing mentality, and he's a coach that's accustomed to winning. What did you take away from his quotes that came out recently?
I think he's sending a message that the board can't ignore. And because you can say what you want behind closed doors, but the minute the discussion becomes public domain, that's something they can't avoid. Because at the end of the day, if you think of the list of players we've lost out on because Daniel Levy didn't want to support the coach with the budget, you're talking about, what's his name from Liverpool, Mane. You got countless players going to Chelsea, all over the place. We lost out on what's his name that went to Liverpool just recently during the break, you know, because they were so slow to act. We're losing all these world-class players that could make us competitive, and for not a lot of money. I mean, it's not like he has to break the bank, but he's just not there. He's not doing the business. We let 4 go, and we only got 2 back. You know, the priority was defensive players, but again, you know, the board isn't backing up the coaches with the budget they need. I'm not saying they have to go out and spend £100 million, but back him up with the players that he wants, because with Paratici and Conte there together, that's a winning formula in and of itself that you can build a team with. But you just made matters worse over the break, you know. And then, you know, just right now, just the quality of players we have, the mentality is just not there to do what they did to Man City and then let themselves get played. I mean, I understand the ground conditions were bad and it was raining during the whole thing.
Exactly, and in terms of their performance over the weekend, it came after, you know, positive reaction from the coaches, boosting their morale, and they went out and performed. And therefore, you know, we'd like to see more of that, but then come midweek against a small team, that mentality is gone. Where is that? What does that say for Tottenham and especially Conte? Because maybe the dressing room was not the feeling that he would have wanted to walk back into when you come off of a defeat like that. And that is maybe what sparked his reaction and to basically snap them out of this.
To me, I think if Conte, you know, he's a football coach. It's not to say he doesn't know what's going on at Spurs. He knows the players that Spurs has. He knows, yes, there's a good striking attack there, but most of the other players are not up to the standard that you would think a top 4 team should have. So Rodney, as we close off this interview, what do you think is, as a Spurs fan, what is a satisfying outcome as it pertains to this season? Do you think that Conte really has a future there? And do you think top 4 is still up for grabs, Spurs?
I think with 2 games in hand, top 4 is still within reach. I think a satisfying result to the end of the season is either 4th place or Europa League spot. That's realistic. Conte just needs the backing of the board as he's supposed to, as he's used to getting, because when you go to Inter and you go to Juve and you go to all these places, the board is always backing you. And in this case, Daniel Levy, the board isn't, it's Enoch and Daniel Levy crew. They're just not backing Conte up enough. He needed 2 good replacements, because we still haven't replaced Eriksen, we still haven't replaced Trippier, we still haven't replaced Dembele. We haven't. We let Bale go, and then all these different things. It's just I won't see any kind of solution till the summer. Right. But again, when you have Davis and you have Winks and all these other people who they're just not there. They're just not up to par. It's just, you got Sanchez major. We lost 3 games on the trot prior to the Man City game. So it's just when you're not constantly, look at Sir Alex Ferguson. Every year he brought in 2 players at least. So there was always that competitive edge and that refreshing of the team roster, so it always kept everybody on their toes. And this hasn't cut it. Kulusevski and Bentancur are good, but we don't have a magician in the midfield. We don't have competent backups in defense. We have ample attack. Say what you want about Mora, whoever. These guys can attack, and they've already proven themselves, as you saw in the Champions League final a couple years back. So,
yeah, so true. Well, there you heard it from Rodney Sammy, a Tottenham Hotspur fan, really showing his feelings as it pertains to the state of the club at this point in time. And with that, we've come to the end of another edition of Football 101. Don't forget, you can check out Football 101 every Tuesday and Thursday night at 9 p.m. So I'll see you next week with a brand new episode. This is Football 101, where we bring the field to your home.